So, I want to talk corporate world today and what's been going on there and how it's gotten me to where I am today and the things I'm working on. And part of that journey has been burnout. And so I want to give you guys some insight into what it's been like and be real because it was dark for a while. It was really dark. So, I'm Tisa. I've been trying to document this journey I'm on, and we're going to go with it. So, it's story time today about how I've struggled with burnout, how that's gotten me kind of here today, working on something that I'm actually really excited about in my corporate world, but I'm taking what I'm doing in the day job and going to try and see if I can put it out into the real world as well. So, I don't know, strap in, sit back, and let's go on story time. So let's go back to pandemic in the beginning. In the beginning, we were all sent home. A lot of people were sent home. Everybody was sent home. A lot of people were sent home and they didn't work. And my heart goes out to them, right? Like, you didn't have a job, you didn't have money, like it was all this, like, right? So I don't want to discount anybody's experience. My experience was I went home and the world kept going. I work in procurement and it was March. I worked in an industry where there's seasons, and our season is spring and summer, right? So it's March, the world is shut down, everybody is at home shopping, buying products, buying our products, which was for our company great, right? Hey, we had record sales. Yay, woohoo, congratulations, capitalism at its finest, right? But for me, it meant that I was in overdrive at work because all of my suppliers were being threatened with shut down. I would get call after call from, hey, we have a COVID outbreak. We've got to shut the plant down for 3 days, So that was real. And what that meant was while the world was going crazy outside and everybody was retreating to their houses, my work job got crazy busy. And I can control that. I couldn't control all this shit happening in the world. I'd sit and watch the news and I didn't want to know what was going on, but I could control work. But that was, I wasn't controlling anything. I was piss poor managing it. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. One aspect of it was I did find my outlet in walking. So not sleeping meant I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would start logging on to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would get fed up by noon and go walk for hours in my neighborhood. So that part was the blessing in disguise, because walking the hours in my neighborhood helped get me losing the 20 pounds that I had been holding on to at the office, right? So that was the good thing. I connected with nature. I walked, I rode a bike, I went, did all these things. That was my outlet. That was how I escaped. But I still wasn't sleeping. So how did I combat that? I would work from 3 in the morning to 6 or 7 at night with taking walks during the day. And that was my life. And it was going good. The world kind of started to settle down. Procurement, supply chain, the ships out of China started shipping again, right? Things started to get back to the new normal, whatever that is. I'm still trying to figure out what that is. But it got better and I wasn't working as much. I got back to somewhat of a normal cadence of a day. And that was when I really started to feel all of the personal mental stuff I was going through take its toll. I was working through it. I gotten a therapist for the first time in my life. So I was seeking help. I was gaining insights. I was getting clarity. But that much mental growth, insight, learning, that's a lot, right? It was a lot. So we get to right at 2 years ago, just before Christmas. It was actually right before my other half and I, we took a good vacation. But I digress. I was at work on a meeting and I just broke down. I thought the meeting was stupid and pointless, and I didn't understand what the hell I was doing there. I was very fortunate that I was not on camera. I was on mute because I was sobbing. I was yelling at my computer. Like it was horrible. Like it was horrible. I had a complete breakdown. And I spent the entire day that way. I had back-to-back meetings and I just sobbed and cried and spent the whole day that way. And I got done and I went in the house and I told my other half, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. That's it. The saving grace was I had a bunch of PTO coming up. So I took off, I think about 2.5 weeks. Him and I took a little mini vacation, got me away from things. I was able to just breathe. And I came home from this vacation with, I'm quitting my job. I'm leaving, I'm quitting. I don't know what I'm doing, but 6 months, I'm quitting my job by my birthday. That's it. Everybody, I've told everybody, I'm leaving my job. I didn't tell anybody at my job I was leaving my job because that was no, right? So I get back into work and, I've taken a little bit of a break. I've had a moment to breathe and I get a promotion. So I'm like, oh, okay. Universe, what the hell is this sign? Got it. I was going to quit. Now you're giving me a promotion. Got it. So let me lean in on this. Okay. So that was a Band-Aid, right? That helped it. And I shouldn't say it was a Band-Aid because it did pull me out of some of my burnout. It did not pull me out of all of my burnout, not by any means. So I spent the next year in this new role and it was not the role for me. It was the next step when my boss sold it to me. He sold it to me with strategic reasons for future growth in mind, right? And so I was like, all right, I'll bite at this. It wasn't a role that suited me. I wasn't very happy, but I made it work with this. I don't know. The whole time there was just this undercurrent of it was just still something, right? So that burnout had never really gone away. That's why I say it was a Band-Aid. It was a bridge over. So a year goes by, and again, I get to this breaking point. And again, it's towards the end of last year. Well, at that point in time, I had a better understanding of what this looked like, right? So I didn't have any more mental breakdown days where I sat sobbing, but I did need a break. So again, took a couple weeks off at the end of the year last year. And that's where, when we came back, I was refreshed. We started the journey of jumping into buying our business last year. That business was the one that whole deal went to shit. Huge learning experience. I learned a lot. Last year, let's just say 2024 was such a huge learning year. We'll get into that another time. But back to corporate world. So again, I knew I was still just, and so now I had this spark, right? We were making that deal to buy our first shop. So I'm like, all right, I've got my exit from corporate. Here it is, writing's on the wall. We're buying this business. This is in January, right? So I knew I could hold out. And then of course that deal went to shit and all of my, I can exit right away, kept dragging on and on and on. And then I got promoted again. So this time, this promotion was different though. This one moved me over to no longer being an individual contributor, but being a people leader. And that was a catalyst, and that was a shift that changed how I was feeling as far as burnout. That gave me something different, because for me, that was a new role. It was still in procurement. It was still leaning on the things I knew. I was still giving my knowledge. I was still talking to suppliers. But there was this whole other aspect to leadership. And I knew at that point, I didn't want to be that manager, that micromanager, that shit manager, that I don't want to call my man. Like, I didn't want to be that person. So I leaned in on my learning, right? So many times, like we see it day in and day out, that people get promoted because they're good at what they do. That doesn't always necessarily translate into they're good leaders or good managers. It's a whole different skill set. So I really took that to heart. And so I went on personal discovery. So for me, that helped pull me out of the burnout. I went on my own self-discovery, my own journey. I decided that I was going to better myself. So I dove in on leadership trainings and leadership learnings. All at the same time, we are trying to buy this shop, right? And so part of buying that shop, what we were also doing to educate ourselves and prepare ourselves for this journey was we joined a coaching group for shop owners. So now here I am. I'm a new people leader at my company in my day job. In my spare time, I'm trying to become a business owner, and I'm in this coaching program where I'm immersed with other business leaders and people that are on leadership mindset journeys and growth journeys. And then it was at this exact same time that I decided to kind of dive into the realm of coaching and really understand what that looked like and what that meant. And okay, well, let me do some hours and get certified in it so that I feel like I can actually speak on that. And so I leaned in on this area, and that just reignited me. It brought back this area, this creativity, this cure for my burnout in my day job. And I've found this area. Now, by no means am I all in on my day job. There are a lot of aspects of things that I just wish I could change, right? And I'm in this middle management level where I have no power. I'm not empowered to make change. And that frustrates me, and that is fueling my desire to create this other business and create this other thing of my own where I am able to make change in the world, right? So what I do in my corporate job, what I do in my day job is, where am I empowered? Where can I change the world? And the way I can do that is on my little tiny team. And I love my team. I have 3 amazing people that report into me, and they all have different strengths and different opportunities and drive me up a wall at the same time. And, I want the best for them, and I like being able to help them, and I like being able to watch them grow, and I like giving them my knowledge. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I don't want to be in there. I don't want to do data analytics. I honestly don't want to create my category strategy decks. I do not want to create another PowerPoint ever again. It's the language of the company I work in, so I have to do it. It drains my soul. I will tell this story all day long. I know my category strategy. I can talk it all day long. I love developing the strategy. But what I love more is when I'm able to talk to others and teach them strategy and work it through with them. And, well, I don't know. don't ask me what I would do. What would you do? Right? And I love that part of things. So that's really how I'm kind of solving my burnout. I've recrafted my job into something new and different for me. And so one of the things that I'm doing, I actually told my manager, my director, we were having our monthly one-on-one, and I told him, hey, I have this idea of this thing I want to do, and I don't want to tell you about it, and I'm not going to ask you if I can do it. I'm just going to do it. And my director actually is the manager that hired me. So we have a really good relationship. And so he's like, oh, well, now you have me intrigued. And so I kind of read him in a little bit, and I was like, but I'll tell you all about it later. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I know you're going to do what you're going to do. He's like, so just, he knows I know, like, not to be an asshole at work, right? Like, I know how to be professional. I know what to do, right? And I'm not going to do something that's crazy. So I gave him a little insight. So here's a little insight for you guys. What am I creating? So I'm creating a procurement mastermind group within our entire organization. So I'm kind of playing on things I learned from my auto coaching group, things I learned from just my coaching program in general. And I'm grabbing, we have about 100 colleagues within procurement across all the different sections, indirect and direct and corporate services and etc. But grabbing people from different areas of the business, different geographies, and I'm asking them, and it's volunteers, right? So out of this group of 100, I have 20 people right now who are participating and coming together in these small little groups and sharing ideas. And you have people of all levels, right? So there's buyers who have just came on board, who have been with the company and doing this for a year, sitting in the same room with senior directors who have been doing this for 20 years and people who have been doing it for 20 and 30, 40 years, right? And so they're sharing this knowledge, and to watch everybody learn from each other, that has sparked me, and that's pulled me out of burnout. So what I'm saying here is everybody has a job. You have a job, right? You have to pay the bills, but find a way to make it yours. Find a way to, if you're feeling burnt out and you can't leave for whatever reason that is. For me, I have a couple financial milestones, the stress of going to a different company and starting over in a corporate world while I'm trying to buy a business. That's just not a stress I want, right? So there's a lot of reasons that I need to lean in on my job, lean in on my career, lean in on where I'm at. So while I've been burnt out, while I've wanted to leave numerous times, there's been reasons why I couldn't, and I can see the larger picture, right? When I was in it, I couldn't see it, but now I've gotten a clearer mindset. I've spent the last year on this growth mindset, this learning experience, and with that, I'm seeing the bigger picture. I'm elevating my mindset, right? I can't go back to just being an employee. I've already put myself in the mindset. I am a business owner. I am a CEO. And at the moment I stepped into those roles, I can't go back. So now that I'm looking at the world at this CEO level and no longer in the weeds level, it's letting me find a new excitement about my day job that I know is teaching me lessons, teaching me things that I'm going to bring into my business. And vice versa. The things I'm learning for my business are helping me grow and become a better leader and think more strategically in my role, think larger in my role. It's so much easier for me to put myself in that larger viewpoint now. So yeah. So have you ever suffered from burnout, and how did you get out of it? For me, it was finding a new path, and this new little procurement mastermind that I'm doing inside. I am playing with the idea of taking it from inside to externally. So if anybody is still watching to this point and you have any thoughts or interest, let me know. The only roadblock stopping me from putting it out into the world is me. And I kind of realized that last night. And so that's me, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm being open. That's why I'm being honest. And I have no idea if anybody's watching, if anybody's going to learn from this. I hope so. I hope one day this finds somebody and inspires you to go out and say, screw it. I'm bigger than that, and take the leap, because that's what I'm doing. I have elevated my mindset. I know I'm larger than I used to be, and I'm stepping into that. So thank you for staying this far. If you want more of my craziness, subscribe to follow my journey. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye, guys.